Welcome back to the Lemdust Podcast.
Nuh-uh. Oops, I'm sorry. Welcome
God
back to
said
the...
if I'll eat it, I'll die.
Dang, everything in the Bible is just contradicted by nuh.
What are they gonna do?
What a great argument. Let's go. Okay. So, how's it going? My name's Nikki. Nikki. What's your name?
I'm Tradre.
No, not even remotely close to what your name is.
It's close. Has a T
Not
and a J
even
in
remotely.
T.
No, like, so you have to, like, kind of sound like your name. Like, Nikki pretty much has my name in it, but then you just add a syllable.
TG.
TDBD?
No.
No.
Nikki Bit.
No, thank you. No, thank you. I will be
Bad
staying.
memories.
How's it going, TJ? We've been gone for a while. Holy cow. I've been gone. He's been gone. I've been gone longer than he's been gone. What time? When did you leave for the week? When did you?
I left Saturday.
We left Saturday. No, did we? Did we leave Friday?
You left Friday.
No,
You left Friday.
Because we got there Saturday. We got there Saturday at like 8:30, I think.
Evening or morning?
Morning. It was actually really nice because then we just had a whole just day to kind of just unpack and settle down, which is what I like when I travel. So, for those who don't know, you should know, but for those who don't know, I went to Canada. I left left Friday. It doesn't matter when it is because you won't be listening to it. Well, I guess I left last Friday. And
last Friday.
Last Friday.
Well, yeah.
No, I left 3 days ago.
You left 3 days ago. That's why we could record.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I left last Friday, and we were there for 1 week, and then we came back, and then we did some stops, and we were gone for like, I think a total of 9 days. I think. Yeah. No? What? 3? No? Technically, we were gone for 10 days, but we were only out of place. We were traveling. A lot of traveling. Who cares? Dude, Canada's so far away. Also, Canada sucks. When you're in Canada, it's so garbage.
What is?
Well, first of all, you're allowed to pass on double yellows, which I find is weird. I don't know why they'd have double yellows and not double yellows. But
What's the point? I probably just to tell you that it's dangerous to pass, but you can if you want to die.
Yeah, I drove my buddy's manual up in Canada. I get there on the first day. I'm just like, okay, let me drive in this foreign country for no reason. And I actually was fine, but like,
oh, it'd be so funny if you got pulled over.
That would have been really funny, but I didn't.
You should have.
Dude,
you're so boring.
You're allowed to go like 20 over the speed limit there. That's so refreshing from America. You get pulled over for going 5 miles over the speed limit. Get wrecked. No,
I would get screwed then. I get 20 all the time.
No, but like, yeah, Canada's really cool, but it's like kind of annoying. Dude, okay. So I'm just going to dive right into this. First, I'm going to start off by ranting about Canada and why I think it's annoying. I still overall like the country, but like, I think it's annoying. So first off, prices are crazy there. I spent 21 American dollars on 1 foot long.
Do they take a normal American dollars?
If you have a credit card, you have to have. If you have a card, they do, but they do not take cash, American cash. So I had to go there and I transferred a lot of cash and then choose my card and some things. But yeah, 21 American dollars for a regular sub that I got. Also, one thing that I think is kind of cool but yet annoying is $21.
I spent $12 on a sub yesterday.
Bougie.
I know. I went all out on my sub. I got bougie stuff.
You're like, man, in fact, you're paying pretty good after taking it up for 2 weeks.
1 week.
I mean, you took up. I'm not counting the other week. It doesn't matter. I took it for one. This is probably one of the longest times I've taken off since I've been working there.
See, I didn't even take off. I had this week off.
Nice.
It was such perfect timing.
Yeah, but like, so they don't have buffalo chicken or chicken in Canada.
They don't have any chicken in
Canadian
Canada.
Subway. They have fried chicken.
No.
I had a sub with double protein fried chicken on it. And so there's like a piece of fried chicken and there's my vegetable stuff. But there's another piece of fried chicken on top of it. I threw up the entire sub. It was a lot of meat and it was not that good. I should not have gotten double protein, but like it was fine. Also, Carson, who I went up there and stayed with, my buddy, he got me onto spicy Italian. is actually really good.
Yeah, it is. Why do you live there but not me?
And they had creamy mustard. Well, because I don't know, I was trying new things in Canada, you know. I was just in the trying new things mood.
I've been eating spicy Italian for like a year.
Also, they didn't have my regular there, so I tried new things. But like, they have creamy mustard.
What's the difference?
I don't know.
Just smoother.
Tastes good. I don't even know the
Probably
difference.
Loaded with sugar and.
Actually, Canada is actually much better than America at that. Like, they have sugar-free mustard. Have you ever seen a picture like showing you how much sugar is in ketchup? Ketchup. I'm talking about ketchup. That's sugar-free ketchup.
I know ketchup has a lot of sugar. I don't think mustard does. I
misspoke. They have sugar-free ketchup in Canada, so it's actually pretty good.
Does it taste like normal ketchup?
Yeah, it tastes completely normal.
Then why do they have ketchup with sugar in to begin with?
I don't know. Why do a lot of things
they want to make people fat?
Amen, brother. No, but then they also have Tim Hortons. I love that place. It is such a good place. They just have good stuff there. They have really good wraps, breakfast wraps. I had some. They're delicious. Also,
hey, white girl. Did you also get your Starbucks too?
No, I got some. There's one in Mackinac actually. There's a Starbucks in there. Pretty cool. But no, so I'll just start. I'll start from day one. Okay, I'll stop getting Star Trek. So day one, we get there. It's Saturday.
Did you actually get there? I thought you just were never gonna get there.
Dang it, you got me, TJ. No, okay, we got there Saturday.
Did you actually? I thought you never gonna get there. No. Okay, sorry.
You like kissing boys? No.
I just saw that today. It's funny.
It's very funny. So we got there Saturday, and got there and everyone except for the parents was asleep, which I thought was kind of funny. I just kind of walked in there and no one was there, so that's pretty cool. That was pretty cool.
Nice. And that sounds interesting.
And then we put our stuff away, and then we're like, wow, because it's been so long since I've been there, so I was kind of like just looking around the house, like, because it was 5 years since the last time I was there, and then I walked into Carson's room. No, he walked out, and then we walked in because I was sleeping in his room. Sadly, not in his bed.
You were sleeping in his room when he got there?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what?
No. And then we gotta bring a mattress in. Pretty cool, dude. And then we kind of just chilled for a bit because we're ballers like that. And then they're rich. Well, not rich, I guess. They're just investors, and so they own like, what is it? Probably 15, 20-ish acres of land that like they are. What do you call it when you turn land into housing? What is it called?
Buying a land?
No. What's it called when you turn land into houses?
Nick. You can hear that when you're moving it.
Nuh-uh. What's it called?
I don't know what you...
What is clearing land and making it housing called?
It is not called clearing land and putting housing.
Property development. That's what it's called. That's cool. They're doing that, and it's cool to watch because like so far they just have like some places.
Is that why they have I saw a picture of you guys in not escalator, an excavator, like the thingamabob.
Oh yeah, I get to use a humongous industrial sized excavator. It's really cool. They literally just like, oh yeah, this is pretty much a sandbox down here. Just fill in this hole and you're good. But I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
And I just use an excavator for 15 minutes. I'll get to that though. And so like they're doing this, and their land's super cool. And they just bought a dirt bike 2 days before I got there, and so I went and ran their brand new stinking dirt bike. I just got on it and started driving, and I never driven anything that had like a bike that had shifters or anything, like kind of like yours.
That's so fun.
And I never drove a dirt bike before, and so that was a fun learning experience. But eventually we built a course. We'll get to that. But we went to, I drove to their land, which is actually really close to the house. And it's just really cool. They have lakefront property, and it's really cool. They have a camper. They like put their own camper down by the water, and they built the docks where they can keep their boat. Really cool. We went swimming there, and what do you call the thing where you stand on the board and use a paddle and you?
Wakeboarding?
Is it wake? That's not.
Wait,
like.
You paddle. I thought you were talking about being on a boat. I don't know, surfing, but with a paddle and not surfing.
Paddle surfing, but slower and more boring and safe. No, they have
paddle boarding?
Probably, yeah, it says, I'm pretty sure it's called paddleboarding. Yeah, we just did that. We were like, wee. And that was fun. But that was not on the first day. Shoot, I can stand track. Okay. And then we Monday we just kind of went to their land. He showed me around, and we explored their land. A round of golf. They actually have a golf course up there. Population of 5,000. They have their own golf course. But I guess LaGrange has their own golf course. So there's like population of 2,700. But they just got a Dairy Queen, and we went.
Oh wow!
That literally like the week before I got there. It's actually pretty cool. And we went there.
Yeah, Dairy Queen is pretty cool.
And they.
You're mentioning so much random stuff. I'm enjoying it.
Okay. But no, the Dairy Queen, we went there and stuff's so expensive. We paid like $8 American for a medium Blizzard. That's fine.
Inflation be bonkers up there. I thought America was bad.
Yeah, I did too. No, but it's fine because they have to drive it so far. They actually have an airport. 5,000 population, they have their own airport.
Prague is the only town in 2 hours.
It is. Well, hour and a half. Dryden's the closest place.
Do they have an airport?
Yes, they do.
Oh.
I think.
Oh.
Does Dryden? I don't know. But yeah, we were on the land and then we were just running around and then we get the bike out and we started trying to drive the bike and we were both very scared. We both never driven one before.
Driving a bike?
Like a dirt bike.
Oh.
But theirs is cool because it's a dual sport, so I kind of want to get one. But it's a road bike. It's a road legal dirt bike pretty much, and it's cool.
Dude, that's one of the guys in Detroit had one, and it'd be so incredibly dope to have one out. But like, I don't know where I'd legally drive it.
You have so much land.
No, we don't. We really don't.
You have four-wheeler trails. Just take
that. But not really.
Just take your dirt bike on there. You have the path all the way up to Scott's. Just drive that.
Back and forth. That would get old.
But you can go around in your forest. You can clear spots. You have plenty of stuff.
Not really. It's not as big as you think.
I don't care, TJ. We use a smaller course when we did our thing.
And how expensive they are. If you want a good one.
You can get a good one for like $6,000.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not crazy.
That's a small car, bro.
For a road legal bike? Small car? What?
If you're driving in America, you're gonna have to have your if it's gonna be road legal, you have to have your you have to have a
license and insurance. Yeah, it's not that bad. Because then it's perfect because you can just drive it to where if I'd get one, I would drive it to work and stuff, and it'd be fun because you can get road tires for them. And they're just road bikes as well.
Then why not just buy like a Grom or something?
Because you cannot off-road a freaking Grom.
No. Duh. Are you just gonna drive it around here?
I could drive it wherever I want if I get one and have a license.
That's good. I'll go for it.
What do you mean?
I'm saying yeah, you can drive it, but at that point you might as well buy something that you have to go fast with.
But you can't. You can get.
You say you can drive it wherever you want, but
yeah, you can. So you cannot.
I'm saying we're gonna go off-roading.
There's a course in Sturgis. There's a motocross course in Sturgis. So that's like 15 minutes from my house. There's a motocross course. And I can also just drive it wherever I want.
Okay, fair enough. Go for it.
Gotcha. And then I want to take it, if I get one, I want to take it up to Canada when I go up next year.
You can go drive it up to Canada? That'd be so dope.
Yeah, but with that on the back of you do.
No, you have to drive it up to Canada.
Oh, okay. Also, they get really good gas mileage. It's actually
motorcycles get insane gas mileage.
Yeah, but it's like, this one's insane. We drove it for 3 days. Like probably a total of 6 hours of like driving off road. So we're not always using it, but when we are, we're going ham. And like it has 5 bars to tell you how low the fuel is. It dropped 1 in that entire time. So it's actually pretty good. I was impressed. Sadly, neither of us had our license or permit, so we couldn't drive it on the road, but we did drive it off road a lot.
But you drove it on the road anyway.
No.
Who's going to stop you?
Oh, the cops. The cops, yeah.
Do you have to have a helmet on?
Yes, we did.
Do you have to? Like, is it?
Yeah, you do.
Okay.
Not when you're on your own land, but we did anyways because we're ballers.
Better.
Because we're better. Yeah, but yeah, we drove the dirt bike some, and then we went. Where did we go after that?
Dairy Queen.
No.
The airport.
Well, actually, yeah, no, we took Patrick and we went to go get Dairy Queen.
You went golfing.
And we explored their land. And then, like, so right while we were there, they're cutting down a ton of trees and building a road through there to the back of their land. They had one going straight through their land to the water, but now they wanted to build one around their land to the back. And so there's a guy there in a big old excavator, but it's like a tree cutting down one. and they're just clearing land. And so there's some cool dirt trails that we were going on. It was really fun, actually.
Until you hit a stump and
I did hit a stump and I hit it with my wheel and it flung it up and it smacked my ankle. And if I was not wearing a boot, it would have just tore into my skin. It was a tough hit. Like my ankle was black and blue a little bit. I was like, ooh, and that was through a boot.
Doofy.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, but then pretty much we did nothing the first day. We kind of just chilled. It was a baller. And then Sunday, we didn't go to church because we're cool.
Heathen.
Just kidding. We did not go to church.
Just kidding. We still didn't go.
Yeah, but and then we went back to the land and drove the dirt bike again, and that's when we made a course. So we made this course. So they have a big old, so their land, there's probably an acre of land that's like where they store all their stuff. So they have like the excavator and the trucks and like their dirt bike, and they have a shipping container and they have a hangar for some reason. They have a K truck. They have one of those tiny little K trucks.
Like the small like Japanese thing?
Yes.
Bro.
And I got to drive it. That thing is actually so much fun. They had off-road tires on it.
Bro.
It was actually really cool. And so yeah, I got to drive this thing. It was actually, because it was really weird because it's so tiny that my knees were pressing against the dash with the thing fully extended, with the chair fully extended back, aka it can't move at all. And so like it was pretty rough, but it was fun. It was fun. That thing's fun. I want one now. But like, yeah.
He's gonna buy all sorts. He's gonna buy that, so he's gonna haul his dirt bike up to Canada.
Yeah, but then they have like a ton of equipment. They have like they have multiple semis. They have a big old tractor. They have an excavator. They have a Mini X. They have a Bobcat Mini X. I think it's also called I don't even know what you call it. A forklift? No. What do you call those
forklift
things? Is it an excavator? Those like things, like the farmers use them and stuff.
The skid steer.
Skid steer, yes. And they actually are really nice one of those. That was really cool. But yeah. And then they just store all that stuff up there, and there's a nice little place you can drive around. And up at the top, like you can go through their land, and there's a hill, pretty tall hill. It's pretty steep.
And went sledding with no snow.
Yeah. They actually had a quarry next to them, or like they call it a gravel pit, but they take gravel out. And there's some steep stuff that we're like, should we drive down here at full speed? And then we're like, we will, and then we will die. And I'm like, oh man, but we wanted to.
So you didn't.
So we did not, but we should have.
Oh, so you're being boring while you're up there.
Yeah,
okay, I see how it is.
And so we only had one bike. We had to take turns, but we figured out a course that we're gonna do timed laps on. So it's gonna be it was really fun. So we went out and we like devised this course, and it was really cool because it was actually just a really cool course because it had straightaways, had a jump. I crashed multiple times, but had a jump, and then you drove through the forest on a trail. It was really cool. Had some cool turns, and it had a part where you went down a hill with loose sand. Really cool because we kept on almost flipping it, but we didn't because we're cool. Cool. Yeah, it was pretty dope. And then so we did this course, and it was like the first part you go pretty fast, and then you slow down and turn, and then you go up a hill, decently steep hill, another random different hill. And then you turn and you take a little jump, but you take the jump and you land pretty much at a tree if you're not careful. And so you have to take the jump decently slowly. And I took the jump one time, and then
the jump took me.
Took my life. No. And then so I went to turn, because you have to turn to be able to. So you drive straight up the hill, and then you have to take pretty much a 90-degree turn to get to the ramp. So you have to just take that turn. You have to make sure, you have to guess pretty much. But that also leaves room for error if you don't turn fast enough. And so I didn't turn fast enough, and I hit the hill at kind of an angle, and then I tried to overcorrect. And when I landed, the wheel was pointed in the opposite direction of where I was going to go. And so when I hit the ground, I kind of just flipped the back end up, kind of flung me forward. Like it just flung me straight off the thing, and then it landed on my ankle while I was still moving. And it hurt a lot, and it was not fun because this is a humongous bike.
Nice.
And I kind of just sat there in pain, and yeah, it was not very fun, but it was fine. It burnt my skin through my clothes where I hit it just because of the friction it created, and I have a red mark on the back of my leg. It's mostly gone away though now, so it's okay. I'm good, so that's okay. Don't have to worry about it.
Just one minor casualty.
And then Carson did it But I don't remember if Carson crashed on the hill. Did he? He did one time. All I know is that he hit the hill and he did a spilly, kind of like what I did, except not as cool. No, I don't know. We pretty much both spilled on that thing multiple times because we're cool like that. And we definitely crashed that bike too many times because we were smart and did the responsible things, you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Went good safe speeds. And then we went home and did other things. I don't remember at all. And then, was it Monday or Tuesday that we went on the trip? First camping trip. I feel like it was Monday. And so Monday morning, we wake up, we eat breakfast, and then we go shopping. Because we had to go buy things for camping. And so we took Evan along. We went, me, Carson, and Evan. We went shopping. We went to a sports store. And then we went to, there was nothing there. And then we went to a hardware. We looked at a saw and an axe. We didn't buy a saw and an axe.
You looked at it.
But we looked at it.
Big man stuff.
So we already had a hatchet. We don't need another bigger hatchet, which is an axe. We probably could have used it. But, and then we went to a store, a supermarket. I don't know what you call it. A market, I guess. Just a market. It's not really a supermarket. And stores.
It's like a lame market.
It was just a really odd store because the floors were weird and I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Also, a lot of the bathrooms in Canada are locked. You have to ask an employee to use the restrooms, which is kind of weird.
People take unasked,
unsanctioned craps,
unsanctioned bombs.
You can't say that. That's a terrorist word. Oh, saved it. Yeah, yeah. But we bought a lot of food for the first trip. We bought soup cans. And we bought beans.
So we bought beans when we had our camping trip.
Yeah, it was great. And
we should do that again before it gets cold.
We should. Let's do it tomorrow. You want to do it tomorrow? Let's do it this Friday. Okay, perfect. Planned it.
I can't.
Why not?
I'm busy this weekend.
What the what are you doing?
I'm going camping.
What the freak?
Actually, yeah.
Wait, with who?
It's at the Fairhaven Church.
And I'm not invited? Shoot.
Shoot, dude.
I don't know if my youth does. I don't know. I think they might. I don't know. But
it's not it's the whole church. Like I'm going with the church camping.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, we bought some stuff. We bought Red Bull because they're cool. And we went home. We packed our sleeping bags, and we forgot the tarp we were supposed to lay on. And we bring super strong bug spray. Very important for later notes.
It's just acid.
Just acid. No skin if you can't skin. No.
No skin to bite if you don't have. Can't get bit if you don't have any skin.
You're such a poet. Yeah. So
I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, and then we packed our bags. We packed our sleeping bags, and we packed a pan. We packed our bags full of stuff we need, and then we went and loaded up. We borrowed another bike. It was smaller. It was like 125cc, but it was still fun. But it was old. The seat was broken, but that's fine.
How big was the other one?
The other one was 250.
250?
A 250?
A lot of ponies.
No, that's CC.
A lot of kankakookies.
It's so funny, TJ. You're such a funny guy.
I'm so original.
You're so funny. And then we went ahead and we loaded up on the trailer, and then we took it over to the beginning of the trail, and then we got out and we drove. So when we get there, we take out the small bike. We haven't driven the small bike yet. We started up first time. It starts like a charm. I think it's first crank of the thing, because the other one, the one they had was an electric start, really nice, but the other one was a crank. It was older, and so you just cranked it one time, boom, started up perfectly. The steering was stiff, but it was fine. And we just drove it around for a bit, and we're like, wee. And so I drove the tiny one, being the bigger, heavier person, and he drove the bigger one. So comparatively, they're both pretty much like the same amount of fun, because one was more powerful and rode smoother and drove nicer, but you also had the downside of you had to carry like a lot of the stuff. So we had some sleeping bags and pots and pans on the bigger bike, but they wouldn't fit on the smaller bike. Yeah. So the smaller bike was free of encumbered, there wasn't uncumbered, but the bigger one was more fun, but it had more stuff on it because it was bigger, obviously. And so we strapped our stuff down, because we didn't bring racks for the bike because we never thought about getting any. So we just kind of had to tie it to the back of the bike, which will come later and bite us in the butt. But and then we just start off like a baller, full tanks of gas. We start like.
So you say you're just driving into the woods, pretty much.
Bro, there's a trail. There's a trail you can theoretically drive a truck on, but it's a pretty rough trail. And so we started going like 2 minutes into it. And we're just going. It's like the first part's a nice open road, but there's a lot of bumps on it. And so I was just riding the bumps.
That sounds so dope.
And Carson was in the front. Like it was a blast. And then Carson hears me like moving up and slowing down because he was in front. And so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna pass him. So I start accelerating. And then Carson's like, man, I'm gonna move over so he can pass me. And so I full speed, I just hammer like boom, and then he moves over, and I just kind of scream, and then I just hit him. They couldn't really do anything because I forgot where the brakes were because they were different. And also the brakes were weird because they wouldn't it'd be the last tiny bit of movement on the brake pedal handle thing that would actually brake. And so I didn't brake at all, and I just got it deflected off of him, and I hit him so hard I bent our frying pan. And then there's some cut down trees, and so there's on the side of the road because there was a storm, and so there's a ton of brush, and I just yeeted straight into the brush and kind of just sat there. Because
how fast were you going?
I'll probably say probably 30.
Bro.
We're going pretty fast, and kind of just flung into the first thing. Like we could still see the truck, and we just boom straight into the brush. And it was I got scratched up pretty good, but I was wearing a helmet, so it's fine. It's fine. And then I kind of just got up, and I was like, ugh. And then Carson stopped.
So you just hit him, and you fell off, and he was fine.
No, he had a big bike. He kind of just moved a little bit, but he was fine.
I can just imagine. That'd be so funny if I got a video of it, bro.
It would be funny.
Should have worn a GoPro,
we
man.
We had GoPros. We should have worn them.
That'd be so funny.
It would have. But see, we need to get GoPros, and we need to go on. We get bikes. Perfect. You can buy Dustin Sell for $2,000. Perfect. You buy it. Yeah, but and then we went, and yeah, he quickly stopped and ran over. He was like, "Oh no!" And then. Because it wasn't really either of our faults because he was like trying to move over from me and I didn't let him know when I was passing.
Oh, see, like that, I had the exact same thing happen except with this normal bikes going down a hill. Like I was gonna pass Brady, and he moved over where I was going, so I was gonna pass him and boink and blop.
Nice. Anyway, and yeah, and so he helped me get the bike out, which was a difficult task. It was wrapped up in those tree branches, and then after that, it would not start. We tried starting this bike for like 10 minutes, and it would just not start. And so eventually we met a defeat, and we called our dads, and we're like, it's not starting. And he's like, I don't know. And so eventually we figured it out because we just kind of like laid ham on the accelerator while we did it, and eventually it cranked to life.
The ham. Sorry.
I love laying ham. And then eventually started it, and then we keep on going, and then we get another probably 5 minutes. This is about probably a 30-minute bike ride on the bike, so it's not bad. But it was already 8:30. we hadn't eaten supper yet, and because we left later than we wanted to, because we were swimming at their land, and we went ahead and just kept on going, and then we eventually got to a humongous mud puddle. One of those ones that you're like, that could easily be like 3 feet deep.
And that could just engulf me. And
yeah. And so we're like, okay, we stopped, got out, we looked around, and we found like a little trail. But it's like, so there's like a swamp on one side and like tall grassland on the other with like trees and stuff. And so we couldn't really go through the other side. And so there's a little path on the other side that you can see some people took bikes through. And so we went ahead and went through there. I got through there fine, but since Carson had a bigger bike, he got stuck. And then all of his stuff fell off. Our sleeping bags and the swampy, yummy swamp stuff. And so we quickly took that stuff out and then took it to my bike. And then I was like a madman, and I drove his bike out like a baller. And it was stuck, and there was a lot of mud. And so we used, bungee cords, right? Mm-hmm. We used bungee cords to strap the stuff down, and we unstrapped the bungee cords. And we didn't really we forgot about the bungee cords because the stuff fell off and we were worried about the stuff. And then I started it up and started spinning the wheels with sprongs on them. And one of the hooks caught up in the bike wheel, and that didn't affect the bike at all, but it tore the bungee hook. And this is a problem because we needed those bungee hooks. So thankfully we were smart and we bring emergency paracord. And so we had paracord, and once we got the bike out, unraveled the shredded bungee cord. We got the paracord out, got a knife out, and we spent like 10 minutes trying to strap the stuff back down. Gave up, and I ended up taking one of the sleeping bags, and like, because two sleeping bags stacked on top of each other are kind of difficult to drive with. But so one was fine. So we just went ahead and I just sat on one of them because there wasn't any other place to put them. So I sat on a sleeping bag, and then we continue going, and we have this brilliant plan because since we can't hear each other, we have this thing where I drive on front because I would probably be the slower bike, and then he has a horn on his bike, and so he just honked at me if he needed anything. And so I just kept on going. We went for a good 15 minutes, maybe even 20. And then we were going down a little slope. It was kind of rocky, and so we were going down, and then he honked, and I was like, oh no, he probably fell. So I quickly slammed on the brakes, and since the brakes are not easy, they just all of a sudden activate. I pulled on them, nothing was happening, so I kept on pulling, and then eventually it just activated, and then the bike skidded to a halt, and I fell over onto my knee on some rocks, and that hurt like an absolute butt cheek on a stick.
It sounds like that whole trip is going so rough so far.
And well, it was good fun. It was fun, but and then so I quickly get up, I'm like, okay, what's wrong? And he looks at me as like, it's fine, my stuff is falling off. I'm like, oh. And then I look at the bike, it's pouring out gas,
bro.
And I'm like, bro,
wait, yours or his?
Mine. I'm like, what is this? So I throw off my helmet and I smell it. I'm like, oh, it's gas. And so I quickly turn off the fuel on the bike, and I look at that, I'm like, what in the hairy could be going? Nothing did. And then and in my panic, since I'm like, I don't want to light on fire, I threw my helmet, and it landed, and it broke the thing, the visor off, because I was like, oh shoot. and so we like look at the bike, and then we just turn the fuel back on, and it turns out that it was just, since the bike had fallen over, the thing flooded, and that was just it dumping excess fuel. I didn't know that. And so now I spent time trying to fix this stinking, because it popped out of the weird socket it had it in. And so I spent a few minutes trying to put the visor back in the helmet, and he was restrapping the load. Eventually we got it back, and it was fine. So, and then we kept on going, and we kept on chugging. And then eventually we get to the base of this big old hill, and we're like, a big old hill. And it was full of a bunch of loose rocks, because the rain would just wash all the other rocks away, and just a bunch of big old loose rocks. And so we get to the base of this hill, we stop, and we're like, okay, we probably have like 10 or 15 minutes left, I assume. So we're just gonna try to get over this big old hill, and then hopefully we should be good. And so we start going up this hill, and like the entire time it's sketchy, because sometimes there'll just be loose rocks, and then sometimes there'll be like bedrock, like just solid rock, like sticking out of the ground. So you kind of have to move your way around that. And thankfully made it up there fine, and then we realized that the top of it was just the top of the mountain. So I was like, oh, okay. And so we finally made it up. It was 9 p.m. and it was turning dark because sunset had already passed, and we hadn't had a fire or food or supper yet. And so we quickly parked the bikes, look around for a bit, figure out where we're gonna set up camp. We set it up right at the most scenic place in the lookout, just because we can, because we're ballers. And so we park the bikes, and then we go ahead and we go find a tree. We found a dead tree, and I start hacking at it with the hatchet, like a baller, like a baller. And I chop it up, and then we bring it over, and then we start the fire with bug spray, because we're cool, because it's a little bit damp. and then we quickly realize that there's a ton of bugs at the top of here. Like, dude, I'm like constantly just like wiping bugs off me. I'm just like constantly off my arms and stuff. And we cover ourselves in bug spray, head to toe, every part of our bodies. And then we're like, this stuff isn't going away. So we quickly start a fire. We start bathing in smoke. We throw our beans and soup on there, and the soup tasted so stinking good. Like,
what soup was that?
We had chicken
the biscuit.
No, what is it called? The chicken pot pie soup, and we had tomato soup. Both were very good.
Did you mix them together?
No.
Okay.
The chicken pot pie was better, but dude, this soup, we worked so stinking hard for this soup. It tasted literally like the best meal I've ever had, just because of how much pain we went through to get to the top of this mountain to start this stinking fire and warm up this soup in the fire. But it was delicious. It was amazing. so good. And then we immediately were like, there's too many bugs, so we just went in our sleeping bags, kind of just laid there, and we laid in our sleeping bags, and they were like, we can't even stick our heads out because our head keeps getting bit. And so we kind of just eventually this was probably like 10 or 12 or 10 or 11 by now, and we just kind of wrap up completely like underneath in our sleeping bag so we didn't get bitten. And we kind of just gave up. We were kind of just on our phones for a bit trying to fall asleep, and we just could not, because we couldn't stick our heads out to get fresh air because of the bugs, and it was just too hot inside the sleeping bag. We couldn't fall asleep in there. And so like eventually I was like, dude, I'm gonna put on my helmet, and then I'm gonna try to sleep with my helmet on so I can have my head out of the sleeping bag. And so I did that, and it was pretty good until eventually one mosquito found its way into my helmet. And I absolutely was like, because I couldn't put my hands up there because the visor was on, and I was just like, and I threw my helmet off and I screamed back into my bag and proceeded to not get any sleep. I think total, I got 30 minutes of sleep in my helmet one time because I kind of just gave up and I just laid there. And it was probably like 2. And then I woke up to, then I just randomly woke up and I was like, ugh. But, so that's all the sleep I got that entire night. 30 minutes. And so we kind of just chill on our phones, talking and being stupid and listening to music. And we go, and then I was just on my phone, and then Carson taps me and was like, Nick. I'm like, what? I was like, there's people. I'm like, what? And there's people. Turn your freaking phone off. And I was like, what? So I get on my sleeping bag and I look over. So like there's the lookout place. There's like, you can just see, it's like pretty much like sheer cliff drop off. And it was probably 10 feet away from where we're sleeping. And then you could follow the cliff, and then the cliff kind of went down the side, and you can kind of go down, and there's a little trail over there to get to the water. And I just see two, like, because it was super dark out. And so we just see these 2 black figures start like walking up from over the side. And I was like, what? It's literally 3:30 in the morning. and they just walk up and was like, oh, hi guys. And we're like, hi. And they're pretty chill.
Was it like a couple,
There's 2 guys, 2 homeless guys, I think. They seem to be homeless because it's like 3:30 in the morning. They're just up here on Monday night. But yeah, and they're pretty chill. They made some jokes. They were kind of weird. I kind of wish they were just left. But they were up there for like 20 minutes, just kind of walking around. The one guy ran up to our bike. He's like, dude, no way, such a cool bike. And started touching it and like got on it a little bit. I'm like, ooh, not the bike.
Did it have the key in it?
No, we took the key out. But like, still we're like, ooh. And yeah, and then they kind of just, we talked to them for a little bit. One of the guys' name was Damian Fox. And one guy made fun of me for being a white man. Because he was like, yeah, man, I'm like a half-breed, you know? You're just a stupid white boy. I'm like, yep. Thank goodness.
What were the ages? Were they old, middle-aged?
I actually never really seen them. They look to be probably 28, 30. That's what I'd guess. But yeah, and then the one guy they both leave, and then the one guy we hear one guy again, and he comes back and he's like, yeah, dude, I forgot my phone up here. And we're like, but did you get to the bottom of the mountain? He's like, yeah, I got to the bottom. And it's a rough hike. We went down the next day, and it was a rough hike. But and he comes back here, oh, here's my phone. Well, okay, bye. And he just leaves again. And then we proceed to not do anything for the next hour. And then it's probably about 4:00 now. And we're like, okay, we're clearly not getting any sleep. Let's get up and drive the dirt bikes around in a circle for no reason at all. And so we got up and we did that exact thing. We drove the dirt bikes around in a circle for no reason at all, and it was fun. We just drove in circles and listened to music, and we were being ballers. Then we turned the bikes off and we're like, you know what? It's like 4:30. Let's make breakfast. Let's do it, because we're clearly not going to get any sleep. And so we take the flashlight out, we go find a tree, cut logs, cut a bunch of logs. No, everything was covered in moisture and dew, mountain dew. No, just dew. And so everything was like soaked. And so we got a ton of brush and a ton of stuff, and we just tried starting this fire, and it's barely going off. And then we used pretty much the rest of our bug spray starting this fire up, because all the stuff was so soaked. But see, we came prepared for breakfast. We bring eggs and toast and butter in a pan, and we're gonna have an amazing breakfast.
Brought toast.
We brought bread to make into toast.
You just put it on the fire and burn it.
No, I'll tell you that. And so we start getting stuff, and we start the fire, and we're like, yeah. And then we start getting the stuff out. The day breaks probably about 5 in the morning, 5 or 5:30. And day breaks, and it starts getting light out. And we pressed out the pan, we put butter in the pan, and we make ourselves some toast on the pan. TJ, duh. Use the pan to toast your bread. You said burnt it over the fire.
Well,
That's not a pan.
Put it on a pan.
She didn't say put it on a pan.
Well, but obviously you're not just gonna put the bread on fire.
That's what you said. Mercer made it sound like.
Yeah, but that's not what I meant. Come on, read my mind.
Shoot. Okay. And then we did that, and then we put more butter on. Then we put the eggs on, and we made some of the most bussin' eggs I've ever had in my entire life. There's something about at a campfire that you made yourself, making your own breakfast. There's something about that is just gorgeous, and I love it. And
So gourmet.
the food was so good. I ate some toast, and I put eggs on the toast and ate that, and it was so good. We had 8 eggs in between each other. Just spread out in between. Between each of us, we each had like 4 eggs pretty much, and we just gobbled these eggs. And then we had more toast after that, and it was delicious. And then we had a Red Bull, and we were like, yeah, buddy. And then we kind of just sat around admiring our great creation. And so then after, I don't know, another close to an hour, we were like, okay, time to pack up. Let's go, because there's nothing going on here. This is no longer fun. We're just getting bitten up. We've done everything we wanted to do. And so we pack up our stuff, and we start getting down the mountain. We start going to get down the mountain. We were going to
like going back?
We're going to go back.
Continuing like the trail?
No, we're going back down the trail, going back to the truck.
Okay.
And we go ahead and are ballers, clearly. And we're like, we're going to do a run. We're just going to, since the first part of the mountain, or the first part down is really sketchy, we want to do it again because it'd be fun, you know, without a load this time, making it easier. And so we go down, we start descending. It's pretty sketchy because it's just a bunch of loose rocks, you know, and so there's these bedrock outcroppings that are just probably like, it probably makes it like over a foot drop in some places where you're just not expecting it. And luckily I was a baller and traversed through those, and I get to the bottom, and then I look back just in time to see Carson like flying through, like almost wheeling and then braking hard and completely just flying off his bike, and it just absolutely crushes his hand, like because he put his hand out to stop him, and he just
gloves on.
He didn't have any gloves on. We forgot gloves. And he like puts his hand out, and then he just kind of like sits, he just lays down. He's like, oh. And so I was a man. I walked back up to the mountain, grabbed all of our stuff, put out the fire, and walked back down, bring our stuff so that we didn't have to go back up again. And then he's like, okay, this hurt. Like he's just absolutely he's in a lot of pain. He had no sleep, and he just kind of miserable. I'm like, okay, dude, should we keep on going? And he's like, yeah, okay. And then we start going a little bit, and then he flags me down like 15 seconds later. And I was like, dude, I cannot drive. His hand hurts so bad.
Left or right?
Right. And so like, dude, I cannot drive. Can you call our parents and be like, hey, and tell them to come up and pick us up because he can't keep going. And so I think what happened to him was pretty much like he landed on his hand pretty hard, and I think he fractured it. Pretty sure he fractured it. And because it was swollen for a good number of days then, but like and then he just kind of like laid there, and he was like super tired because all the tiredness hit him of no sleep last night, and he was just absolutely out of it. And so he's like, well, you can't pick the bikes up with a trailer here. And so I take one of the bikes and I drive a half mile down the trail to a place where they can pull in the trailer and turn around, and then I'm like, well, time to hike with my backpack all the way back to another half mile back. And so I jog for a half mile. It's probably the longest time I've continuously jogged through a painful trail, and it was horrible, but I did it like a baller. No, but it sucked. And then we get back, and then he's like, well, we better get over there now. And since there's still another bike left and he couldn't use it, I slowly rode the bike while he walked beside me. And we did that, and we kept going, and then we got up there, and then he's like, because at this point it's been almost an hour since he crashed, and he's like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. I'm feeling a little bit less tired. Let's try to take both the bikes. I'll take the smaller one because it's easier to ride. Let's take both the bikes and let's like try to ride back. And then at this point, our parents were driving down the trail a little bit to come pick us up, and then we just started going. Eventually, we met them, and Carson was like, "Eh." But then he ended up just taking some Tylenol, and then kept on going, and then they turned around. But yeah, and then we made it all the way back like ballers. Then we loaded it up on the trailer, and then we went home and slept for 6 hours. I went home, we unpacked our stuff, and we just knocked out. I slept from approximately 10, or like, no, it was like 9. No, it was like 8, because we got back at like 7:30. I went to bed at like 8, and I woke up at, I woke up at like 4. Got like 6-7 hours of sleep, and it was good sleep. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed the slumber.
Yeah, and and then we were like, yeah, pretty dope. And then we had one pretty much that day we kind of just rested. We went out, and also that Monday when we went shopping, we also stopped at, they own a coffee shop up there. Really cool place.
They own it.
They own one. And well, they own half of one. They do it with their friends. It's a mission thing, and yeah, and it was really cool. I love their coffee shop. It's dope. I helped run it a little bit when I was there last, and it was cool. But then I got a coffee, and it was really good coffee, and it's a really cool place. I wish I could go more, but I don't live up there, sadly. So, yeah. But then Tuesday we got back and we slept for a while, and then we went and woke up, and I don't even remember what we did when we woke up. But then Wednesday, wait, I remember what we did Sunday. I'm gonna go back to Sunday because I just never remembered what we did. So Sunday on Monday we went, and it's probably one of the coolest things I've done yet in my life, because we went hiking. We drove 30 minutes to a back road, and that back road was really bumpy. And then we drove 45 minutes on this back road. And then,
like on the dirt bikes?
In a vehicle with a bunch of people, because everyone went to this.
I got you.
And so we were like, we should take the dirt bikes, but we didn't. And then we drove on this back road for a good while, and then we get to a trailhead, and we hike for probably another 25-30 minutes. And then we get to this lake, and we look down, and right there is what we came for. A crashed PBY bomber converted into a water bomber. It was really cool. So it was a crashed water bomber. You know, those planes that scoop water up and put out 4 stars. And it was really cool. Did you see any of the pictures I posted?
Oh yeah, I did. I saw something your dad posted too. It's pretty dope.
It was really cool. We went inside of it. Part of it was still in water, so we had to climb around and try to get inside of it. Like, it was super, super cool. Like, it was absolutely dope. It's probably one of my favorite things I visited.
Duape.
Yeah, it was it was really cool. The plane just was like, it was just such a scenic place, and we're like, we should come back here and camp, but we didn't. But we should. We're like, we should.
When you guys go, I'd love to go to Canada sometime.
You should come with me next time we go.
For real?
Well, because it's just gonna be me going next year, and so you should come with me.
Actually?
Yeah.
Bet. That'd be fun.
Yes, we'll go for a week and a half. But yeah, it's super, super cool up there. And the hiking, you would love it. The hiking was such an adventure. Like, there's no data up there, and the only thing that we knew how to get there with was one person had a map on their phone, but we did not, and because we went ahead, and so
who all was it?
It was me. Because it was me, Carson, Evan, Patrick, Tori, my mom, my dad, Galen, and Edith.
Oh, it was a lot of people.
No, Edith didn't go. Yeah, it was a lot of people. But it was me, Patrick, and Tori. We led the pack. Or me, Patrick, Tori, and Carson. And all we had is orange flags, probably 20 feet apart from each other, that we had to follow. And it was really cool. And you'd love it up there. We descended down like a mountain-ish thing. Like, it was just really cool hiking, and everything was really scenic, and it was beautiful up there. And yeah, it was gorgeous. And then we went back after we went and explored around there for a bit, and we went back, and then that's all we did Sunday pretty much. And it took up quite a lot of time. But yeah, and then Tuesday we did nothing after we got back from the camp. And then Wednesday, what did we do Wednesday? Was Wednesday? No, what did we do Wednesday? Did we do anything Wednesday? I'm trying to remember when. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, on Wednesday, we did something that you would love. You would absolutely love it up there. You would eat it up.
I'm sure I would.
Because we drove an hour where there was absolutely no cell service for like within 80 miles of us. And we drove and we went out back to this old quarry, a big quarry, like a big, like a huge quarry. And the quarry turned into a lake. And so there was, you know how quarries have like where they mine rock, and then there's sheer cliff faces, and there was water in it, and so we went cliff jumping.
That'd be so fun.
It was so cool. Like there's a jump ranging from the highest I did was probably like 12 feet because we didn't. So yeah, I'll just tell the story. But like, so there's jumps from 10 feet all the way up to 45 feet, like insane height.
And you did the 45 feet.
For sure.
First one, you did double backflip off of it.
Yeah, double backflip, broke my neck, died immediately. No. Yeah, and
took some Tylenol and I was okay.
And then I was okay, yeah. So, like, we jump off, like, it was just the water was so clear. It was gorgeous. Well, here, I have a video. I've sent you this one, but you're going to watch it again. This one was kind of boring, but this is one of the things we did, like, because I was trying to jump to the music.
How high is this?
It was like 13 feet. It was really fun. Like, it was just...
So what was the highest jump you did?
The highest jump I did was like 30 feet. I did.
That's it?
So, but here, I'll explain. So we were like... So we know two things. We are camping at this quarry because it's really cool. And we know that there's a beach, and that's probably where we want to camp at. And so we're like, we heard that the beach was pretty much, there's like a ridge, or like I don't know what we call it, land outcropping. And so the lake went back, and we couldn't really see back there. And we assumed that the sand beach was back there. And so we're like, we did like probably 5 or 6 jumps, and we're like, dude, we should go swim back to the beach. I'm like, for sure, let's do it. And so me, Carson, and Evan get in the water, and we start swimming. Like a baller. So Carson did bring a life jacket.
Is this still when
Evan
you were with the whole family?
Like, yes, everyone was there.
Okay.
And so we start swimming, and we get around this thing, and we're like, what? It's not, the beach is not around here. But now we're a pretty good 150 feet away from the nearest place where we could get out of the water. Or like, get back to where we were. And so we're like, crap. Because then we look around and we see the beach, and it's another probably 200, 300 feet across. And to get there, we had to go across the middle of the lake pretty much. And we're like, well, if we go back now, we don't get to the beach, and then we're kind of just boring. I think the total, actually, I'm completely wrong on this footage, because I'm pretty sure the total, we swam pretty close to a mile, I think. We had breaks, but like we swam like probably a quarter mile across the middle of the lake, and that was really fun. I'm lying though. The current was coming.
I'm lying though.
The current came directly against us because of the wind. Like the wind was blowing against us, and it was just really tough swimming. And we swam and swam and swam and swam and swam and swam because we're like, we're not turning back. That's what losers do. And we get to the beach and we're like, we are not going back. And so that was all the cliff jumping we did that day. And so eventually, like, we were there for a bit, and then eventually the rest of the people bring the truck back because they're gonna cook supper there
at the beach.
At the beach. Well, they cook, so like there's the beach, and there's a nice circle place where it's kind of clear. At the top of there's like a little hill, and at the bottom of the hill is the beach, and at the top of the hill there's like a cleared space. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. The only problem is there's a decent amount of wind there, but it does keep the bugs away, so it's okay. And so we're like, bro, we're gonna camp here. This is the spot we're gonna camp at. And so, because it's perfect, like a little cleared place, perfect place for a fire. And then so we do this, and they bring the truck up, and then we unload the tent, and then they start making a fire. We go find wood and cut down a tree with a chainsaw, and then they start the fire. They start putting the potatoes and stuff on. They put chicken on, and then by this time we have the tent set up, and we're like, this is gonna be cool. We put the stakes in the ground for the tent, and And then we see storm clouds in the distance. We're like, probably gonna rain a bit here. Probably quickly get this chicken down. And so we get the tent out, we get our stuff, we get all of our stuff in the tent. And then we look, and then we just see a wall of rain. There's a wall of wisping and whippling rain. Like this is probably one of the most stark contrasts between like rain and not rain. Like you just see it coming.
I've seen that coming. I've
and
had it before.
and then my dad's like, guys, get to the van so you don't get soaked. And everyone starts running, and then we're like, oh no. And then all of us, before the rain even hits, all of a sudden just this gust of wind that I promise you could have knocked me over if I was just standing upright and not doing anything. Like this insane gust of wind hits the tent, and we're like, oh no, we're gonna lose the tent. And so like the chicken's still cooking on the fire, and we're just like, we run to the tent, and we're like, no. And so me, Carson, and Carson's dad grab the tent for dear life, and then it just starts pouring rain that hurts. It's hitting you so hard, it just hurts. And we're just sitting there getting absolutely pelted by rain. And even with 3 grown men holding onto it, we're still nearly losing the tent. All the stakes pretty much pulled themselves up. And we were just like, oh no, are we going to lose? Because it's blowing towards the lake. And we're like, oh no, we're going to lose all of our stuff into the lake. And so we're like quickly fast thing. We're like, we close down the tent. We close it down. We pretty much sit on it to keep it from going anywhere. Thankfully, we didn't lose the tent. But it stopped. It only rained for like 10 minutes. And then it rained off and on for a bit. It kind of just rained. But like there's a storm for a good 10 minutes. And then after that, thankfully, the storm pretty much stopped. Because if we were like in the tent, it would be a nightmare in there because we couldn't really get out in time. It'd just be a nightmare. But like, and then we just start reconstructing the tent, and it's still raining, but we're still reconstructing the tent because we don't want water to get inside. And then my dad comes back and he starts continuing cooking the chicken. None of it got blown up miraculously.
Baller.
And then we cooked the chicken, and we had chicken, and we had potatoes, and it was good.
Did it not get the chicken? The skin didn't get soaked. Did you have
it? Got soaked, but we just cooked it. I mean, yeah,
we just cooked all of it.
Yeah, it was pretty insane, and it was like one of the most cool circumstances I've ever been in. It was really dope. And then we, but see, this camping trip we came prepared because we realized everything we forgot on Sioux Mountain, and we prepared a lot of stuff, so we were dope. And this time Evan was gonna stay with us, so it was gonna be extra cool, and it was dope. And then after we ate food, everyone else left, and we were just there. And so we were supposed to bring an emergency transponder so that we can get in contact with people if something goes wrong. Like if we get eaten by a bear, because there's bears up there.
So if you get eaten by a bear, then you'll call for help.
Well, we forgot it.
Of course you did.
We forgot that emergency transponder. So we were like, okay, we just told the parents, like, okay, we're just going to, if we're not back by 1 p.m. tomorrow,
we're dead.
We're dead. Yeah.
Just don't plan the funeral.
Yeah. That's it. Nothing else. But yeah. And so they left the truck with us, and we stay there, and we're like, heck yeah. And so we start playing music, and we start, we kind of hang out. We play poker. We bring poker along.
Hey,
and we start playing.
Real men.
Dude, I got a full stack, which is really cool. Or is it called? What's it?
A full stack? A flush?
No. What's it called when you get? Because I got a pair, and I got a 3 of a kind.
A full house.
Full house. Full stack. Same difference.
Close enough.
And that was really cool. But it was dope. I won that game. Pretty cool. I'm such a smart man. Just kidding. I lost that game. No, yeah.
So why'd you say
I won the second game.
Oh.
So I lost the first game, and then we went.
Who won?
Carson, I think, did. And because it was me, Carson, and Evan. And then we bought frozen pizza. And
nice.
So now there's like 7 or 8 p.m. We make the frozen pizza, and we're like, $450 degrees is what it says for like 12 minutes. So we'll leave it like, we'll put it pretty close to the fire, and we'll leave it for 4 minutes each side. And we wrap it into foil. Each side, yeah.
Foil, I got you. I was about to say, I think they plop it on the pan.
Yeah, no, because we were using the Grape Grill, and we had, so with the tin foil, we're like, okay. And then we go, and we leave for a little bit, and we come back 4 minutes later, and we flip it, and the crust is just burnt to a crisp. And I was looking forward to this pizza, because it was looking good. And then, because it was so cheesy, and everything looked so good. And so I ate burnt pizza. It was not that great. I did not eat a lot of it, but I ate some burnt pizza. And
did you have anything else?
It was pretty good. No, we bring in case we wanted more food, we bring some soup, and then we bring a big old breakfast. We bring bacon, and we bring shredded potatoes, and we bring 12 eggs. And then we were like, and then everyone was like, oh yeah, I don't eat eggs. And we're like, are you allergic? And then he's like, no, I just don't eat eggs. And like, you don't like them? It's like, I don't, I kind of like them. I just don't eat them. I'm like, brother.
Yeah.
Evan, this is an official call out. When you listen to this, this is an official call out. Eat more eggs. They're good for you.
Protein.
Yeah.
Protein.
And then we played more poker. And then what else did we do? Kind of just, we went, but before everyone left though, me and Carson went to look for more wood, and we found a bunch of raspberries. We just ate tons and tons of raspberries. That's besides the point. And then we just did a few more stuff. We just kind of hung out in the tent for a bit, and then we, probably 10 o'clock, we went to bed. And I didn't fall asleep for a good while, but Evan he was sitting so it was like an 8-person tent, but it was still, they're always liars on those tent numbers. So it was, we didn't have the most room, but we had Evan, and it was me and then Evan and then Carson all laying in a row, and Evan was in the middle, and Carson, I was by the door because I'm a brave man, because I have to run immediately if anything happens, I'm the first one out. No, but Evan did not sleep much because he just kept on being scared of all sorts of stuff. He's like, Nick, I think there's something out there. And I'm like, brother, and recreate the noise with my feet, I'm just wiggling in my sleep. And he's like, oh shoot. And yeah, and I slept great. I got 7 hours of sleep. I slept wonderfully because we bring mats and sleeping bags and pillows, and it was great. Carson didn't sleep that great because I think his shoulder hurt or something like that. But yeah, it was an overall great sleep. Not for Evan or Carson, but for me it was great.
But for me
it was great. And so it was fun. And then we woke up and we're like, boom, breakfast time. And so we wake up and we make a fire first off. And then it was much easier to make a fire because we went and collected dry dead wood, and we cut it up and we split it. I got to split logs to make fire. Axe, baby. And then we made the fire, and then we set up the Graver Grill. The Graver Grill was so hard to start because all the ground was just gravel, and we had to stake the steak into the ground, and it was very difficult, but we did it. And then we put on the bacon first, cooked the bacon up, pop. And then we started making the eggs, and then we put the potatoes in, get those babies fried up, and then we put the eggs in with the potatoes, and then we put the bacon in with the eggs, and we had probably the best, I would say probably the best food I've ever made, best food. It was incredible. I ate that thing, and I was moaning and groaning the entire time. I was like, so good the entire time. Every bite was just a miracle of flavor. And I can now say I'm a professional camp cook. It's just so good. I can recreate it, prove that I can recreate it, and it was wonderful. I recommend you go to Canada for no reason. Just do it.
I'm 100% down. It'd be so fun.
Let's go. Yeah, and it's just so cool. And then we went cliff diving. We dove for probably another hour or so. We did some bigger jumps. Patrick did when Patrick went, he did the 25-footer 3 times. Not even
Did you do it?
Not even my dad did it.
Bro, that's dope.
Patrick was baller.
Just yoink. You probably fell off 3 times.
Sure, buddy. And yeah, it was dope. Yeah, we went and jumped off a bunch. It was fun listening to Tame Impala, just vibing out. And one thing I didn't realize is how many Tame Impala has so many recognizable songs. There's so many songs that just
I don't know who Tame Impala is.
You don't know who? Okay, so
I don't recognize that.
I will rack your memory, and you will immediately know every single song. Okay, let's see.
Oh, I know that song.
We're gonna go next. Wait, you have to go to the. Wait.
We're gonna get copyrighted. Copyright.
You have to stick in.
It sounds kind of familiar.
No. Oh, here it is. Right. We're not getting copyrighted because we're talking over it.
Right, exactly. Okay.
You know the song?
It sounds kind of familiar.
You know it. And then we'll go to the next one.
Okay.
Not getting copyrighted.
Keep talking. Okay. Okay.
Do you not know this one?
I mean, it sounds like a bunch of songs.
I don't know. It's very good. Here's another one. This one's my personal favorite. The drop happens 6 minutes into the song.
Okay.
We can skip more.
Still talking.
I'm not.
Can't get copyrighted because I'm still
You can't
talking.
copyright because I'm talking. Ready? This is one of my favorite songs in the world.
Okay. Still talking.
You know the song.
Okay. Okay.
And there's one more really good one he
Okay,
made.
you don't have to play another one.
Okay, that's from the Barbie. He made a song for the Barbie movie. No, that's pretty cool. Also, have you listened to Speed Drive by Charlie XCX?
I don't know. Maybe. I have not looked it up. Okay. Still talking.
Have you listened to it?
No.
You don't recognize it? I listened to the song. It is now my top 4th for the past 6 months of listening to music. I listened to it so many. Every time we drove, dude, it's such a good song to just drive to. It's like, and like it was. You need to listen to it on the way home or on the way wherever you're going. Yeah, after this, you have to. Legally, you have to. It's such a good song. It's a Speed Drive by Charlie XCX.
Okay.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we went cliff diving, and then we had to leave because we didn't want our parents to think we were dead. So that was cool. And then we got back, and then we kind of just messed around. And then Friday morning, we woke up early. Actually, no, Thursday night. No, yeah, because we woke up and went back Thursday. And then we played a board game that I really like that I think I might get. It's called Civilization 6. You know, it's a video game, but Civilization 6 is a very fun board game. We should play sometime. It's perfect because it's a 4-player cap, so it's cool. But and then Friday we wake up pretty early and then we go fishing. So we go fishing. We go to the dock. We get in the boat. We drive in the boat for about 30 minutes, and we get to the place, but we're like, ooh, water's a little low, so we have to get out of the boat and pull the boat across the shallow parts because it's like shallow, and it's very annoying. And then we pulled it across, and then they got across, and then we kind of just walked over to the place, and it was super cool. So it's like there's like a waterfall, and it's like a river, and there's like a waterfall. It's a really good place to fish, and it's fun, and it was a lot of fun. And then we went, and you would love this as well. We went hiking way upstream, and we went and skipped rocks, and it was like we did a lot of things besides fishing because we were bad at fishing. and we like walked upstream and we went exploring. I climbed a big rock and it was king of the world. It was dope, really dope. And then and then we went ahead and we're ballers, and that was fun. And then we went fishing. I almost caught a fish. Dude, it was so cool.
I almost caught it.
It was so cool because I was fishing for like 30 minutes. Wasn't getting much more than a nibble. And I was like, okay, God, come on. Like I just want one catch, just one bite. And then I go over and I throw it in, and the first catch, I get a bite, and I reel the sucker in, and I pull it up, and then it wriggles right off the reel. But I was like, dude, I got it. I got my
got a fish.
I caught a fish.
What was
did
it?
Get away. Bass, maybe. Bass or walleye? Pike, maybe? Something like that. It was really cool. I did not catch another fish. I kind of gave up pretty soon after that because I was like, yeah, that's cool enough. And then I went back. Patrick, however, he caught one of the biggest fish they got that day. It was probably like a 14-inch fish. He's pretty good at fishing.
Fishing is so like how can you be good at fishing besides knowing where to fish?
You can just know what you're doing.
But like
and you don't lose a fish when you bring it in. Yeah. And that was cool. And then we tried, and we were about done fishing, and so we were like, okay, we want to go and see if we can cross the water, or cross the river, because there's a big river, like a big old river, and we wanted to see if we can cross it. And so they went ahead, and they took the boat over to the other side, and they were going to do a little bit of fishing, and then they were going to leave. And so me, Carson, and Evan started up on our trek, and we tried seeing if we can get across. And no, so we were trying to find a place where we could walk across. And so eventually we ended, like, we got more and more desperate to the point where we pretty much were just in our underwear, holding our clothes above our heads, trying to get places, but we couldn't do it. And so there's just so many big old rocks that are mossy and slippery that it was kind of difficult, and the current was very strong. So we keep on going up street and trying to find a place, and eventually we find a place where we're like, okay, maybe we can swim across. And then Carson's like, okay, I'm gonna go and try to see how fast the current is. And so there's like, we were by 2 rocks, and then right past the 2 rocks, it was like deep, and there's a bunch of current there. And so we're like, okay. And he sticks his body out and immediately almost gets swept away by the current, and he just grabs onto the rock, struggling to hold on. And we're like, you know, we could probably swim it. We just might end up a few 100 yards down the river, but we should be able to swim across. And then everyone's like, no, you're gonna die. And everyone just, we could have maybe made it. We probably, it was like a waterfall, so we probably would have. So
I would have died.
We probably could have made it, but like we ended up not trying to cross because there's just too much stuff, and what? Don't drink that all. It's mine. And yeah, we kind of just had to go back and shamefully. What are you doing? We kind of just shamefully walked back, and then we made it down the river, or down where it's like a really like slow current, and it was pretty shallow. And I ended up, yeah, but there's still some current, and it was pretty deep. I lied, it wasn't shallow. And and I start walking across, and then Carson starts walking across, and then he gets swept away by the current. I'm like, no, and so I go down, and I get swept away by the current too. And we kind of just started swimming because we couldn't touch the ground and keep going. Like we couldn't touch the ground enough to keep the current from flipping us. So I just gave up. I was fully clothed, everything on me. I just started swimming, and it was fun. Did
your phone on you?
No, I didn't have my phone on me.
You said you had everything on you.
I mean, yeah, everything that I had on me. But I didn't have my phone. It wasn't on me. And yeah, everything got soaked, but it was fun. And then we swam and we swam and we swam to try to get to the boat. We never got to the boat. The boat got to us. We threw our shoes in, and then we continued swimming for a bit. And then they came back around to us, and
should have gotten skinny dipping.
Should. But yeah, and then we got in the boat and we went back home, soaking wet, and it was very cold, but it was fun. And then that was Friday, and then Saturday morning we left. It was really cool, really fun trip. And then on the way back, we went to Mackinac Island. On the way back to home, drove like 12 hours, then went to Mackinac Island. It was very cool place. I want to go again next year. I think I might make a yearly tradition. Just go to Canada. I want to go to winter sometime and go winter camping. But yeah, that's for another adventure.
That sounds. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Well, there's no bugs, so it's okay.
True.
And then you can just get -40 sleeping bags.
No.
So yeah, thank you for listening to my too long discussion about how much I enjoy Canada, and also sometimes hate Canada. Depends on what I'm doing.
Bugs.
So yeah, thank you for listening to the Lumber Drops podcast. Patreon.com/Lumber Drops podcast for some cool stuff, and really cool stuff actually, super duper cool stuff. Instagram at the Lumber Drops podcast. And I think that's it, TJ.
Oh yeah. I went to Detroit. Yay! For Bible camp. I went last year. I'm sure I talked about it then, so you can just go back and listen to that one.
Same thing. Nothing changed. You did the exact same movements. Okay.
But one thing I want to say, I had the best fish I ever had down there. The fish was mahi, and it was fantastic.
We had good fish. We ate the fish we caught.
Mine was better.
How do you know that?
I don't. Okay.
TTFN.
Tater tots.
For now.